So you're probably wondering, what does the Iron Dome have to do with your shop or even your hobby area inside of your house? Well, welcome to Jenna's Workshop. Today we're going to find out. Now, if you're anything like me, there's a high probability that the majority of your shop or some of your areas, dust and debris is almost like a badge of honor. It means that you're using it. But there's the honest truth that there is also parts of my shop that I'd like to not have dust, such as my desk or a crafting area / electronic area / whatever you need it to be area. But the point is someplace that you want to make sure that you don't have dust accumulation. And if you know you're doing wood projects, you're always going to have airborne dust that will eventually settle the next day. So let me show you a solution. Now, for me, there were a couple things that were really important with this. One, I wanted it to be absolutely transparent, because the reason is if this stays out like this, I don't want it to be like a cloudy or one you can't see through, because then it would just look like a pile of trash sitting in the background the whole time. And I'm out here a lot, so I love the aesthetic. So I wanted it to be see-through so you could still see and it wouldn't serve as being just kind of a cluttered pile, if that makes sense. Now, I also wanted it to be retractable, which this is. So this can be deployed, but then it can go right back up as well, allowing it to be used. But at the end of the day, it protects, and you can tell that all the dust will settle here, and then before you use it, you just kind of fluff it off, if you will. I grab my little BB Nano and I spray that off. And that does allow also for aesthetics. It's hidden. I like it to be concealed. I also like the fact that I can create this shelf out of it. It'll be an opportunity for Rogue to get some friends, and some other things can go up here. I love this chain, this twisted chain look. So now, with that being said, guys, let's go ahead. Let's get into the build. All right, everyone. So at this point, I've gotten it up there. This is not the finishing kind of style, if you will. I'm going to be doing that differently, but I wanted to prove concept to myself. First of all, I've not seen this done. The closest thing I could come up with is like a self-retracting window covering or something of that nature. But I wanted to see if I was actually going to like this, right? So imagine that all of this, our pictures, very delicate stuff, whether or not you have an electronic desk or anything that needs protection. As you know, if you try to split that, and meaning you do another project that has cutting or sawdust, you know that by the next morning, this is going to be covered in that airborne dust that settles across that night. So with that being said, I could grab this at any point. I could pull that out and just drape it over. Phenomenal. Then this is what ends up covering it. And then before I roll it up, I kind of shake it off. It all settles down underneath, if you will, or I retract it back in and it stays inside of it. So with that being said, I love the concept. So now what I want to do is I want to actually get rid of these L brackets, which are upside down. I realize that, but I'm going to be doing kind of a chain link connection there. And then I want to put a face board on this so that when this is retracted or fully retracted in, you don't see it. So it'll be kind of out of sight, out of mind, and get this ready for road. One of the things that I recognized even before doing the project is that I was probably going to have a little bit of sagging here. Now, I honestly had thought about buying like metal conduit, like a 1-inch conduit, but those are $40+, whereas you can get a wood dowel for quite a bit less expensive. But I figured there'd be some way that I can actually figure out how to brace it. Now, what I'm actually thinking about doing is on the underside, connecting to the wall, a gradual slope down that has a very rounded front. So as this is getting reeled back, meaning the tarp, it's not going to catch on a sharp and then tear it. But at the same token, once this is retracted and full, it has a slight upward pressure. That just going to give it that additional support. So here's what I ended up coming up with. I'm just kind of drawing this out and I wanted to show you, but it's going to have this kind of rounded over, sloped back, and then it'll go straight and then up at a 45. And then this will actually attach with a couple of pocket screws into the wall. And then I'll do an L bracket as well just to kind of support that. So I'm gonna get that cut now and get that up and see if that kind of helps with the sagging issue. Because this is like, you know, just building it, it's already sagging, which again, I think was an expectation. So let's see if we can get that braced. All right, you guys, I've got some aesthetic liberty, and what I mean by that is this is going to be covered. Okay, that is going to work awesome. You can kind of see that underneath there. All right, so guys, this is working, right? There's no doubt about that. So when I'm ready to use it, I just go ahead and start kind of pulling it out. It's a drape cover, it works awesome. But here's one thing, watch this. Okay, hopefully you can see that. But watch this spot here. What ends up happening is this gets a little bit taut on the underside as it's being turned, like right about there. See how that's starting almost like, I wonder if I were to just angle that a little bit more. But for right now, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this out there, and this is a community, right? So if you're watching this and you made it this far, perhaps you even have an idea of a different way that, one, I could support this structure without interrupting the rolling, if you will, of it. But I'd love it if there's anyone out there that has a way of allowing this to go in and out without having to separate the plastic. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love it if you guys could give me some ideas, and then we'll change it. Now, the last thing that I want to do is I want to put out this face piece. So I love that idea, but I also want to conceal it. So I've got this part that I'm going to be putting up, and I'm going to just be tacking it in. So then it's going to look like a normal shelf, right? But at the same time, it's going to be concealing this. So let's go ahead and get that up. All right, for your fishermen out there, here was one of my plans, is that you see how this wooden dowel is off the end. I was actually going to build a bait caster handle for this. And some of you might be thinking it's on the wrong side, but I'd say whether you're a power hand forward or not, the true way of doing it is casting with your right, if you're right-handed, and reeling with your left. And so I was going to actually have almost like a bait caster reel that I could use this to wind that up. I'm just, not sure that it's going to be able to tolerate that level of force. So I'm going to leave it right now, but you may in a future video see a handle. And now, if you do see that handle, you'll know exactly what it's for.